Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Esoteric Ebb. Wow, those shadows are growing very fast. I guess you can really see how... I was gonna say how quickly time is passing, but no, I think that's just kind of happening. Yeah. It's just crazy to see the shadows grow that fast. She dropped this during the scuffle. Unluck Blade. Advantage against lawful creatures. -2 constitution, but +4 dex. That is pretty crazy. If I need dexterity for something... One of those ancient daggers that once had the capability to cast Wish. All the charges are spent, but the esoteric energies inside are still rumbling, causing a tiny esoteric pocket to rage all around it. While holding the dagger, you perform the exact opposite action of the one you intend to perform. You say yes when you mean no. Attempting to stab the blade in the air causes you to instead shove it into your own stomach. So let's keep it holstered for now. Okay, not using that. Huh. Yeah, that seems terrible. Quite frankly, seems awful. Seems pretty. God, really bad. Is there anything else to turn in here? Yes, there is this. Because I did you last time, and I finished something else. But yeah, now we need to go over here and do this. Take roots. Hello? Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Push over the line, destroying each worthless monster in the way. That's how you get ahead in life. Aggressive competence with a stoic demeanor. What? Where is this coming from? From you. As the adrenaline wears off, as the world comes back into perfect, regular clarity after such a deeply euphoric fight. You're standing here realizing you're on top. This is where you're supposed to be, the most competent man around. The fact that I'm still alive, is the most impressive part in all this. It is also the #1 sign of your supremacy, of the size of your manhood. This taste of pure, near instant blood-misted death has got you hooked. You need more. More? More fights. More near-death experiences. More romance. Romance? The manly kind. Knights chasing down tyrannical dragons. Damsels being carried to safety. Empires falling and kingdoms rising. Men with goodness in their hearts bearing the burden of reigniting spirits. Breaking darkness, smashing evil. You have finally reached that point. The point of actually feeling like a professional cleric. The romantic ideal of heroism, knights, and kings is fascist propaganda used to elicit unrealistic aesthetic ideals for young men, radicalizing them towards nationalistic agendas. Yep. And what is wrong with that? Makes them feel bad about the world when they get stuck working in the Lamplighters Guild, thus incentivizing violence against the system. Nationalism promotes terrible, hateful ideas. We don't want to be a feudal state of old, nor do we want a repeat of the arcane era madness. We want a liberal, modern man, one who is nice and calm and loving and never hurts anybody ever. I mean, some people deserve to be hurt, quite frankly. It makes them feel bad about the world, incentivizing violence. We want a liberal, modern man, one who is nice and calm. I mean, yeah, I mean, these are good things. This is obviously, you know, taking it to like a joke area, but yeah. There's nothing admirable about a man incapable of force. In ideal modern city life, you wouldn't need force. It is such a utopia that manly force would especially need to be honed. There's a self-destructive hatred festering within men, within you. Some might say it is driven by the forces of various powers in the world. Some might say it is inherent to this post-war era. And it does not help anyone. Man is not inherently evil for desiring greatness, nor is he mad for throwing himself into danger. There is always a need for men to take and rule and protect. That's stupid. What is needed is a way for men to dream freely, to aim towards the ultimate greatness of the self, aimed at helping everyone around, so they do not become thieves or tyrants or ruthless gatekeepers. Unfortunately, once you give people some power, they're usually loath to give it up. So them becoming tyrants and stuff is usually, you know, makes sense. There are no positive outlets for these desires, and it is exactly where they will end up. Generation of men told to be calm and nice will grow up to be violent and wild. Generation of men told to be competent and good will grow up to be wise kings and lovable people. Simple as. There are no positive outlets for these desires. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think manly force is something that even exists. I think that's like a social construct, and I definitely don't think it needs to be honed. I also think the self-destructive hatred festering within men is more because of what society teaches you about what masculinity and being a man is. These are once again problems with the the system itself. Like it's a systemic issue in how society teaches you what masculinity is. It's not like it's not the case at all. I simply don't agree. And you need to spend more time understanding yourself. I've done plenty of that. We will continue down this false road of femininity. I mean, a mixture of both can be good. Do you know there's a shocking amount of men that just, like, don't wash their ass? Like, it's like you might be leaning in the wrong direction here. The goal isn't to break yourself or for some illusionary audience. That's true, it's... Oh, yeah. Risk assessment, baby. Larger that creature is, the more you should be getting paid. Not in troves or loot, that shit's a nice bonus, but you gotta get this on paper before you dive in. You ever fight a troll again, you'll be doing so for a maximized hourly rate with every possible gruesome death calculated in that final price. Life on the line? Pouch is getting fat. Them's the rules. I mean, honestly, yeah. Like, if you're gonna be putting your life on the line, like, I mean, I'm not gonna say if there's like poor starving children that are about to be eaten by a troll, I'm not gonna, you know, put them into debt to save them, but like, if a company or something wants me to take out a troll, like, you bet your ass I'm getting the amount I'm worth. Heard about clerics who go into freelancing? Could be cool. Like the Pest Control Guild? I mean, I can be for sale. Like the Pest Control Guild? Sure, but like, way more lucrative. Clerics are in high demand, especially these days. Clerics with your kind of esoteric know-how? Invaluable. I do like getting paid a livable wage. Oh yeah, towers are infamous for their tight budgets and all. Gotta make a living somehow. Taking the gamble for pay is good, sure. But you need to actually live to tell the tale? For that you need more than luck. You need the luck of the fool. Yes, please. Every time you head down here, it's a gamble. Every time you take on a job, and there will surely be even more ruthless jobs than that troll in the future. You'll roll the die. That die being a 50-50 chance of death and destruction. What did the red one call it? Getting blood misted. Instantaneous smashing. That's it. That's what you're risking every time. So embrace it. Focus on being really, really lucky. You've survived long enough on gut and feeling and ultimately pointless gambles. It's time to calculate your odds properly. Tell me more. As you can clearly evaluate, each time you take on a challenge, your outcomes are quite extreme. Appears you are just as likely to succeed in an unlikely and extreme manner, as much as you commonly find yourself in a radical and rather terrible failure. Might be true. It is. Even by recognizing your personal skill level involved in any particular task, the overwhelming power of chance is evidently your clearest ally. This is bad. Instead, let us lean upon the strings for balance, a tightly strung balance, one born out of a beautifully curved yet balanced bell. A bell curve? Yes. If you before had an equal chance of each outcome, which is quite volatile, this would instead allow you to take control of the outcome, aligning each attempt around the center, the average. This would reliably increase your odds of succeeding at tasks you are equipped to handle, while dramatically decreasing your failure rate at those you are not. I understand what this means. Obviously, it is quite rudimentary. Of course, that would impact both you and your opponents. Draw strings are universal, after all. Tell me about Luck of the Fool. If you're gonna gamble, might as well save yourself the biggest fails. Whenever you roll a natural 1, you get another result and take 1d4 damage. This effect can repeat to infinity. The damage cannot take you below 1 HP. That is nice for when you roll nat 1s. Tell me more about dungeoneering reflexes. Dodged enough shit to get down here. In the future, you'll be ready for anything. Whenever you roll 10 or below, add an extra proficiency to the roll. That just seems very useful. Like, that just seems extremely, extremely useful. Tell me more about Professional Cleric. This is it. You feel it. Finally, you are competent. You cannot critically fail. Tell me more about Curved yet Balanced Bell. Like, Luck of the Fool... Just seems like a worse version of Professional Cleric. Whenever you roll in that one, you get another result and take 1d4. This effect can repeat to infinity. This doesn't say it gives you another roll. It just says you can't critically fail. So it basically, Professional Cleric basically just takes away that from the roll. So now there's only 19 options, whereas this one is still an option and you just re-roll. So slightly different. What about curved yet balanced spell? Naturally, you should only take on challenges you are capable of succeeding at. This will lower any risk involved. Whenever any d20 is rolled, the strings of Jor cause the outcome to lean towards 10. The chance of critical rolls are diminished. Whenever any is rolled, the strings of Jor cause the outcome to lean towards 10. So that is for enemies too. This could be good. It kind of just averages things out a little bit. So others can't roll as high. I can roll better. Yeah. I think I would want Dungeoneering Reflexes, though. Whenever I roll a 10 or below, add extra proficiency. These will help you in some way. Your choice here is to focus on the path. Dungeoneering Reflexes. Time to make a proper living. Thus it goes. Guess I'm a troll killer now. Cool. Do I want that one? Actually? Currently we have String Master. For each level spell slot, you gain 1 additional maximum spell slot. No. I definitely want the other one. Sorry. Forgo. Yes. Give me Dungeoneering Reflexes. Thank you. Cool. So now I just have an extra stopgap if I ever roll too low, basically. Which is nice. Very, very nice. Alright, we finished the main... a lot of the main quests now. Just supposedly found... okay, so yeah, we do still need to find that. I still need to do that, which that is like a big quest, I believe. So I do want to do that. Attacker got away with no clues. I'm surprised this didn't finish. So yeah, no choice but to let her go. Now to meet her patron. Oh wait, I still have to meet the patron. That makes sense. Steal a document from the Free Striders. Like, I could do that, but honestly, I don't like the Free Striders either, but I would still rather them than the Nationalists if I'm going to be real. Okay. So yeah, we're just kind of continuing forward now. We're getting pretty deep in here. Surprised I can't investigate this some more. Urrath, the first guest. Okay. That looks like it goes deeper. What does this go to? Because this is in the snail shell, right? I should probably leave here, actually. Because I think this is just going deeper and deeper. I think this is actually progress. And I remembered there being another path out here. So I do think I want to go out here just to see. Yeah, there's some stuff. That's a dead person, I think. Could climb these vines. The roots are moving ever so slightly. The foot of the snail ruins. You watch a mass of writhing roots moving about ever so slowly around a series of corpses. Skeletons, to be precise. This reminds you of that magazine you read as a kid, Lord Ficky and Boney Tim. Lord Ficky and Boney Tim, a children's magazine from 2 decades ago, was banned after the production company had a scandal involving bribes from the anti-bone purge community. A classic. Look at the skeleton in the center. There's a lovely helmet. You see it straddled upon the brow of a skeletal face. Must be a later Fade era, or early Divine era. However, a corpse would never remain this intact over hundreds of years, without esoteric means. Most likely, these were adventurers from a later era who simply used that ancient helmet. Just like you should do. Maybe you're not thinking of what I think you're thinking. It's like the type of helmet that would bring great mindfulness. Interesting. Roots wriggle and writhe a bit more. Do you burn this bush down or something, you know, with your radiant fire? Hurting nature is a fool's choice. Yeah, that is true. Smart thinking. Thank you for the compliment. Goblin nudges you. What? I agree with her. Stop. Alright. I do really want that helmet, but Why is everything so weirdly, like, it's like it lost its anti-aliasing right here? Why does it look like that? It's just these roots in particular. Nothing else looks like that if I zoom in on them too closely, yeah? No, everything else is pretty clear. It's like just this area, weirdly. It's like it didn't load in properly or something. But yeah, you can see the edges and the pixelation there. Interesting. Okay, well I'm gonna climb this. Stare up the wall of the ruin. Thick rubbery vines drape over the ancient spiraling concrete. There's a vertical ascent of roughly 20 feet. The Tulin did not do stairs. Whatever steps you have found in architecture are added eras later. So now you climb. Lines are slick with fungal humidity. Mucus. Going to be slippery. It's going to be rough. Is there anything you... Oh, cast Druidcraft? Weave the primal strings to bring the vines more closely together. Nice. That should make things simpler. Inspect the structural integrity. Pull on a vine. It holds. Releases a puff of yellow spores. Cough. Ugh. The air down here is thick, heavy. Focus. The climb is doable. These are weirdly easy. Is there anything even useful? Of course there is. There always is, right? You have a distinct feeling. Somewhere up there someone is calling out. Someone lost long ago. I'll haul. No challenge. You grip the rubbery plant matter and heave. Slime coats your hands, but your grip is iron. You ignore the burn in your shoulders. You ignore the spores in your face. You just pull. Up. Dominating gravity. Yeah, I topped gravity. You are at the top of the ruin. Let's go. Okay, so you. Headless decaying body. Belong to some type of druid. Speak with plants. Oh, that is useful. Oh, I would love to put that on. Speak with plants sounds quite fun. Climb again. Okay. If I could... You know, re-put my, things on, my spells. That would be nice. Lingonberries! Oh, hey, it's the lingonberries I needed! That's where they were. Wow, they were just hiding right there. Terrible stains, please keep them safe. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go deeper, because hopefully I can get to the next pillar, and then I'll have an easy way to teleport out of here. Which would be quite handy. So where do these paths go? Yeah, this place is just a giant maze too, jeez. A map? And a terrain map at that? Tolls Pass. Vizca. Earthport. Ilum Forest. Today, this is a cursed land. Reads. The fortress. Was still there 1,000 years ago, eh? The Venatorum. Oskin. Your homeland. Various dragon thrones of Old Dimenor. Jor's Point. The coast. What is this? It's like a hole. You step out onto the little lines. This is an awesome map. It's fairly lit. The chamber collapsed, rubble strewn across its surface. What you see is a slice, 1/8 of a greater whole. It's a map. Of Ascani, yes. Damn. However, it is old. Mountains and rivers alone do not align with any modern-day interpretation. Despite that, the shape of the coastline and of course the ever-standing fortress of Verdun show it clearly. This is Ascani, during the era of the Snailfolk. You seeing this shit? Sure am. It's a map, right? I think so. Must be thousands of years old. Look at the little snail people on it. Tears of many eyes glance over it, lighting it with a slight sacred flame. Early Fade era. What do you know about the time period? I recall our clashes with the Tulin Coddle. They were formidable war mages. Though we never made landfall in Ascani during the time this map was created, it was considered Dominium Draconis. What you today call Ascani, Dimenor, and Vergini were all within their territory. Sad that the rubble is covering Divinatorum. Right, you were alive. The realm is young, Claire. The 5 dragons each were older than anything born on Jor. Remember that. Right, very interesting find. And... Yep. Don't know if I want to say this one. Sad that the rubble is covering Divinatorum. Because I'm trying to remember exactly what Divinatorum was. Let's see, I recall our clashes. Ascani, Diminor, and Virginia are all within their territory. And they mentioned Divinatorum up here. This is Ascani during the era of the Snail Folk. I can't remember, because this might have been when, like, they took down the Magicrats. But no, this would have been early Fade, so I don't think that... Or wait. Fade. When was Fade? Was Fade when, like, the Magocracy and stuff was falling out of power and getting replaced? Can't quite remember. So I'm not positive, so I'm not going to say that. Very interesting. There's scholars I would kill for an LR of this thing. LR, common shortening of light reflection, referring to the image capturing method of using the mirror cantrip and light cantrip simultaneously, in order to brand a surface with a perfect visual representation of whatever the mirror is reflecting. It's a popular and cheap alternative for paintings. Anyway, look at the dot on the coast. Well, let's look at the Divinatorum first. Most of it is covered in fallen rocks. One thing you see is like some feathers. Like Drummer? Not really. Drummer's more of a Yimian bird, from what you remember. Divinatorum was filled with birds all throughout the Fade era, from what you remember. Oh, interesting. They said that that was weirdly redundant. It's like their thing, Luxori and birds. Then the Celestials settled more seriously over the course of the next couple of 100 years. And what's settled, well, that's the colonialism-imperialism version of it. They're still there today, so they surely did something right. Look at the dot on the coast. Your home, thousands of years in the past. This was its first founding by these snails. The little images of these beasts of Jor show them stretched far inland, having colonies along the river. Yeah, so that was my old home. Yeah, Divinatorum was filled with birds all throughout the Fade era. It's like their thing. Of course, the Celestials settled more seriously, so that's what it is. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. That's when the Celestials started expanding and the Golden Line and everything. So, a lot of colonizing. So yeah, it is a bummer to see the rubble there. Not too unlike your own people's efforts. Along River Torna. They appear to have had colonies even as far as Toll's Pass, even further than Earthport. Earthport, the northernmost town or Jarldom under Norvikian influence, the last civilized stop along the river, famous for its furs, expeditions, and of course, the Muletown incident. Though curiously, this map does not align with your common knowledge. No, it does not. The endless waste should not allow anything to be built this far inland. This map depicts everything until the waste begins, then there was less waste during the Fade era. This is commonly assumed when looking at other early mapping attempts. Good to see it confirmed. A symptom of the ebb. Look, it reads, Old Diminor. Across the border on the mostly covered in-rubble band to your left, see a very different visual than is commonly depicted today. For today, most of Western Reeds is ruined, cursed. Where the cursed lands lay today, here you see a fertile crescent. Is that a frog? Yes, you have heard that Anurans once occupied large swaths of Old Diminor before the strife of the Divine Era. While on the coast you see several locations that do not align with any modern locations. The Draconic Civil War surely reshaped most of this as your former overlords fell. The one dot that does align is a tiny one placed in the center of the bay, the Reedsian location for the Pillar of Jor. It has stood there since the Gate War, so it makes sense the snails would want to point it out clearly. They did worship Jor in the end. And it also seems the rest of the geography in this depiction of Old Diminor does not align with any modern visuals either. Look at the lion in modern-day Vizca. See lots of smaller symbols representing the lion folk of Ascani across the inner parts of the map. White mane. They ruled for long. Now they rest. Tribal catfolk ruled large parts of Ascani until the early Divine Era. Their claw marks are evident all over your precious city. Look at the dragons. 3 of them can be seen. A red, green, and black. Here's the black one. I saw the green one up here. I don't see a red one, unless that's supposed to be the red one. And here's a second green one. Maybe that's a sea serpent, not a dragon. Or like an Eastern-style dragon? Because, yeah, I see 4. I see 4, unless, yeah, that is just supposed to be considered a sea serpent. But no, I don't see the red one at all. Yeah, and there's the white mane. Yeah, I see a black one, another black one, and this. Unless that is also not a dragon. I don't know. Look at the red dragon. Esuth. Esuth, the red dragon of Asgard. Scourge of the coast, the largest of all known dragons throughout Jor's history. Fortunately, it was slain long ago, else he would be a worthwhile prize. Look at the green dragon. Tissereldanor, the great green dragon. She was the mother of most, as they say. She who birthed the coastal broods. While a tyrant like all her kin, she is known for her lighter touch and bond with man. When Dug Dulandim slayed her, it ushered in freedom for all mankind. Her visage upon the map indicates her domain, what is today the Ilum Forest. Look at the black dragon. Umbromixus, the all-wise black dragon, guardian of the bay. He was known as the most magically adept dragon on the coast. His esoteric cache in Silverslove has still not been found, and is to this day a popular target for adventurers and reeds. Done looking at dragons. Avert your gaze. Look at Jor's Ocean. Cool depiction of a perch and a nice whirlpool pull at the top, the same as they do today. Good thing the snails are as confounded by that whole mystery as we are today. You know, you could get yourself real rich by figuring out that whole thing one day. The mystery? Yeah, the whirlpool up top. Yeah, mystery behind Jor's Point. It was like the place where that big whale first entered, through the first of Jor's gates or whatever. But no one who ever tries to sail directly seawards ever returns. Real spooky, yeah, it's like, you know, Grand Line and all that. Real spooky. There have been reports of massive treasures being found on the islands located deep inside that stormy part of the ocean. Yeah, that's where the One Piece is. If you ever want to become an explorer, pirate, sailor, that's where I'd aim for the biggest payout. Now I just thinking of the One Piece opening, except with Jor. I left all of my treasure in one whirlpool, and that spawns the great era of piracy. I want to become a pirate. Just think about it, okay? World's your oyster. Crack it open at your leisure. Leave. Sailing would be fun, you know? It's obviously romanticized, and pirates are in general in modern day media and stuff, but... Hello? That's... scary. I don't like that, actually. Rabbit and dog warriors, and then there's a snail playing... what looks like a violin, but it looks like a painting canvas? It was the Drakekin who first broke the beasts of Jor. This is disturbing to me, because I feel like a giant leviathan's gonna come out of the depths. It's setting the thalassophobia off a little. Just a bit. Sic Semper Tyrannus. Oh, to hear what strange bardic nonsense these snails cooked up. Hello. Very creepy round snail door. Approach the ominous door. The tunnel lay silent, only your breath is heard. A cell. This one for their own. Placed across the surface you see pieces of paper covered in ancient writing. Seals. They keep the spirit inside stable. Just freaking me out. Seals. Esoteric shackles, yes. This is a prison. Indeed. This area is an ancient prison of the Tulankatl. These are cells. Cells of the soul. I have heard of these. The angel speaks into your mind. A prison made by Anticipalian folk. Look underneath, around the crevices of the door, underneath along the sides. Press your head against the ground, against the walls. You see clearly. This door does not lead anywhere. It is not tightly sealed, nor is it very fastened against the end of the tunnel. It is simply an iron door sat upright against the wall. Oh, it's actually freaky. It was cursed at minimum. It is in fact a magical way of capturing creatures, not cursed. Sounds cursed to me. Doesn't sound cursed to you? It does not sound cursed to me. Oh, it sounds cursed to me. Magical prison lost in time. Something is inside. Look at the symbols. You lean in, checking them closely. You do not know this script, however it is most likely some type of seal, most likely in the snail folk's lost tongue. Talking to the door? Voice echoes down the tunnel. The angel beside you appears to freeze midair, her eyes focused on the iron door. After several seconds, you hear... There is someone here. A light voice dances in the air. Gives you chills. Can barely hear you. Speak up. There's silence for a while longer. Then the voice says, It's been long. I see not. I feel not. Yet you I hear. You beyond the door. I have a favor to ask you. Sure, why not? The voice is silent for a few seconds longer. Please, save my husband. Oh. Catch a glimpse of the goblin giving you a worried expression. I know not who you are. I do not speak your tongue. The strings grant me these few words. They broke his soul into paper. He made a grave mistake, but this punishment? It is beyond cruel. They wanted him to see the end of the world, to lose everything. My love, my foolish, petty, wonderful husband. Can they get you out of here? We will help, don't worry. My fate is written. I mean, we don't know what they did yet, to be fair, but this is a incredibly horrific way to go. The voice fades beyond the door. Lady, get you out of there. Please break him out. Break the paper. Speak his name, please. Save my Isk-Urum. The pleading voice then stops. Lady? Hello? Nothing. Jeez, that was something else. Think I understand. A woman in distress. You need to help. There is no doubt. Yeah, let's look into this. Raditeer, we have to, behind you? The angel is shivering. Uh-oh. Do you have some trauma with the snail, people? Glittering dust falls from her halo as it spins erratically. Celestial tears. A rare sight. Emotions from an instrument of death. Her voice enters your mind stuttering. This is a travesty. Agreed. Her body shakes in the air. To speak through an iron door takes a heavy toll. If she has truly been in there for millennia, then her soul is already withered. You must break the seal, cleric. We must save Isk-Urum. Rip the seals. As your fingers touch the paper, the symbol upon its surface lights up, just for a split second. Yeah, I mean, this, like, once again, this seems like a horrible fate. I don't totally know what you did, but... Then all at once, as your fingers drag through it, the paper crumbles into bright, white ash. Nothing appears to happen with the door. Snell looks at the dissolving dust in the U. If you know what you're doing. She will rest. She deserves it. A sprinkle of golden dust falls from her many, many eyes. Let us save him. Yes. Always, Snell. Always. Sure. I believe in you. He actually does. I mean, it could have been a massive fuck up, to be fair, but... Approach the round door. Upon the surface, a single piece of paper clings, this one a crude drawing showing 3 creatures, a lion, a goat, and a snake. Childlike, almost mocking in its simplicity. Symbols carry a deep meaning. A seal, a prison, a warning. I like the goat. Which one do you like, Atir? The angel leans in. I enjoy the lion myself. It is a prideful creature. You also notice a crack in the door. It's small, found in between several large pieces of shells. You like the goat? Yeah, it's a nice drawing. I have no personal issue with goats. Lions and snakes, though? Dangerous. Don't like that. Do you like catfolk? Catfolk are great. Lions? Not so much. Can we leave this thing alone? I'm getting the creeps. You like lions? Catfolk of Ascani have always fascinated me. Their architecture is beautiful. I agree. How swell. Look through the crack in the crevice. Press your helmet against the crevice crack, peering through the narrow gap between the iron and stone. Darkness, then... eyes. 3 sets of eyes glowing faintly in the black. One pair burns with amber fire. Another gleams with an unsettling blankness. The third, cold and reptilian, all watching you. Something's alive in there, more than one. Of course, the Goblin sighs. Why wouldn't there be? Speak with animals. The sound of the primal spell rings down the tunnel. Then, a sound. Low, rumbling. Not one voice. 3. Who speaks beyond? Animal sounds mixed with something almost human. Oh, that's not good. What are you? Silence again. Then the voice returns, speaking over each other in a chaotic chorus. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go through the trouble of recording me doing 3 different takes. We are. No, I am. We are. They're arguing with themselves. 3 voices, 1 throat. A roar shakes the iron. Someone speaks. Someone hears. Is this like a chimera? How long have you been in here? Too long. No, it has only been a moment. There's been somewhere in between. Lion's voice rises. If there is a voice, then there is an exit. Snake's voice hisses. If the exit exists, then we can escape. The goat's voice barks. If we can escape, then we are no more. What do you mean? It does not answer then. In an instant, the voices disappear. A strange light emanates from the seal on the door. Look at it. The paper crumbles into ash. Nothing happens with the door. It remains shut. Appears the creature inside did not survive the breaking of the seal. That was awful. Huh. That seemed like a chimera. Goat, snake, and lion? Was that your loved one? I don't think so. Call me crazy. But I don't think that was the loved one. Okay. Well, this area is immensely interesting. I'm still terrified of this. Like, if I fell in that, I would be super scared. It also reminds me of an area in Sonic Adventure that I was terrified of when I was a kid. It's one of the Sonic levels when you go into the pyramid in the Mystic Ruins. And in that level, there's like a water area that looks like this, and it has a giant, like, basically like clockwork or some sort of automaton snake that's just going around. I was terrified of that because it was huge and existed under the water, and you could just see it through the shadows moving, and I hated that. I hated that so much. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for some more.